CC knockup and buffs for teammates, it just ends up working out very good. Very good. Now, Landon, you don't play a lot of League, so
Yep.
what are some questions that you have about the game? Some things that you aren't fully versed on?
Well, long story short, most of everything, but I'm trying to think here because I don't know very many, if not much at all, except for some buttons do other things, obviously. But that
Fair
is just how these games work. Because I don't play very many of these types of games. I play mainly shooters, whether that be Call of Duty, because I play on the team here along with Thomas, or things like Escape from Tarkov. That's a really fun game. Back on topic here. I'm trying to think here because I know that there's certain aspects. I know kind of how the game kind of works and what the main objective is. I wouldn't be able to kind of give you a question offhand without like being in seeing some of the things that I would have to question about because I know the very 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 basics of the game. But that is all. But you were saying earlier that Jinx and Nami was really good for us. What do you mean exactly by that? Because I'm not very versed in this game at all.
Now, I'm very glad you asked. So, the thing about it is, Nami is a really good support. Just all around, in just about every matchup she's in, she has a lot of potential to make some really nice all-ins for her team, especially when she hits her 6, gets her ult. Really good engage opportunities. And she comes with a little bit of CC in her kit, that being her abilities and powers. So her Q throws this bubble, and if the bubble hits an enemy champion, it throws them up into the air and stuns them for X amount of time.
Yeah.
And that goes really good with Jinx, because Jinx has this ability where she throws down 3 traps.
Mm-hmm.
And then after, I believe it's 1 or 1.5 seconds, the traps become armed, and enemies that run into them become stunned once again. So if Nami's able to hit an enemy with her Q, and then Jinx throws down her traps right underneath them,
mm-hmm.
by the time they recover from Nami's stun, they will be re-stunned by Jinx. And in that time period, Nami is throwing abilities on them, and Jinx is auto-attacking them as an ADC typically does. Your job as an ADC is to just auto-attack them to death. And you build stuff that makes you do that better. So it's a really, really filthy combo with Nami and Jinx, so that chain CC works very good.
Yeah, I see how that can be really effective. Stuff like that, getting him Oh, okay, cool. I was like, we're not supposed to see that screen, aren't we?
Typically, I think no, but you know what? It's still running, so we're gonna rock with it.
Yes.
Although I do believe that it normally loads up pretty quick.
But
Anywho, so let's talk about UIC's Twisted Fate on their mid lane. Now I foresee this becoming a very popular pick. Oh? Okay, so it appears as though UIC has had a bit of a connection issue with their top laner. So let's just go back to this real quick. Alright, so Twisted Fate, UIC's mid lane. Now, I foresee this becoming a very, very popular pick, just because Twisted Fate's ult allows him to teleport to nearby, well, not nearby, but teleport to enemies and friendlies. And the reason that's become so influential is due to the fact that Riot recently changed the way that teleport works. Alright, we're back in the game. So Riot recently changed the way teleport works. It used to be you could teleport to any friendly wards, minions, towers, um, and a few other small little things that are part of enemy or part of champion kits. Um, but they have changed it, so now you can only teleport to towers pre 14 minutes. This changes up a lot of things because normally what you do is you'd have your bot lane throw a ward near the enemy tower, and then they'd get them to their tower, and they'd have their top lane teleport in, get a gank, grab a kill, and start scaling. Well, this 14 minutes, you can only teleport to towers. That doesn't allow you to be able to roam like that very easily. And Twisted Fate, on the other hand, he can go anywhere, anytime, as long as he hits his 6. Which, as a mid laner, that can happen within only a few minutes. Actually, quite a bit of a fight on bot lane that we did miss. Bit of a team fight down there. But we'll catch it next time.
Yeah, you guys get to just sit here and listen to me ramble on about a game that I don't know all too well. And then you have Thomas over here, who is going to carry the team as I ask him questions and try and figure out what's going on.
Yes, so we actually see Caitlyn and Thresh really going in on Jhin. Twisted Fate's going to come down and try to get that. Actually, ult out of Caitlyn. Not quite able to get the kill on the Jinx. Was very close. But luckily, Nami was able to step in and intercept that ult. Very, very dangerous thing that Caitlyn shot.
Yes.
I actually have Cassiopeia kind of trying to rotate around and stick with that Twisted Fate and not allow him to just kind of free roam on her team, because that's never a good thing. It's a interesting place for that Camille to be, especially pre-14 with no TP. We'll actually see them already doing a really hard rotate between UIC's top and bottom lanes, with the Thresh and Caitlyn going top, gonna try to take on this Gwen. I don't think Gwen Camille is a good matchup for UIC's favor. So they kind of want to play around that. Kind of want to put themselves in different positions, better positions.
Yes.
So I have Trundle on UIC doing a really good job of just pushing that Herald through first tower, getting that tower gold first team, and then getting out before they can really try to deny him too much. That's Cassiopeia TP to top lane. Gwen getting a little bit aggressive on the go-in with no mana, and TF right there in that tri-bush. They do have vision on, so they know he's there. And he's not going to be able to get really any form of action on that. Thresh also opting to get vision on that. Great dragon play by DSU here. They know that UIC's Caitlyn is on top lane along with Thresh, so they don't have a lot of a backup in that position. They do have Trundle down there with Smite, so he could attempt to steal on Drake, but more often than not, it's probably better off just to kind of let it be and not give up a kill. And there we'll have Gwen TP on top. Gonna go for a little bit of an aggressive go in here. And that will be Thresh ult there. He is low on mana. She could try to push her luck, but with that Caitlyn full health, it's probably not the best idea. Bad luck for Cassiopeia there on bot lane. Going against a Camille Twisted Fate, it's not going to be good. And can we get the scoreboard on that? So nobody here is really all too fed, except for the Camille. 3-0-2, already got her mythic and boots. It's going to be really hard to do some solid damage against her. That's the thing about League is if you can start snowballing early game, then you can take that gap and run with it and do something really influential with your team, which is something DSU is going to have to do a really good job looking after here, and they're gonna need to stop this Camille and put her in her place. So it looks like we might start seeing something here on mid lane. Sejuani kind of trying to run this Caitlyn and Thresh down, closely backed by Nami and Jinx. Jinx just trying to get a little bit of poke in there, grab some minion wave. She really needs to keep up with that experience and gold. Otherwise, it's going to be really hard for her to stay in this game and be an important part of the team. Really strong tower dive out of Camille here. Just taking tower shot after tower shot and not really caring. Good possibility here for them to get that Trundle, and that will be just one of them absolutely nasty auto attacks from Caitlyn. Very interesting thing about Caitlyn is the way her passive works. Every 6 shots, she gets a quote unquote headshot, which does bonus damage. Unless she's attacking from a bush, and then it's every 3 shots. So if she's hiding in a bush and she's auto attacking you, probably better to just run because she will start doing a lot of damage in a little time. A bad place for Cassiopeia to be. Great pick on that Caitlyn. Uh, could be bad news for Jinx. That's kind of the interesting thing about Thresh. Is if he hits you with that pole, he can start doing quite a bit of damage. He is more of a tank support, but when done properly and scaled a little bit, Thresh can be very, very annoying to play against. Not fun at all. And again, we got that tower dive from Camille. Really, really hard to guard against that, especially for Sejuani being 3 levels down on Camille as she is. Um, and I think we'll start to see DSU just trying to do a little bit more of a defense. Just grab those minion waves, get the gold, and just try to stay alive and in this game long enough to really make something important happen. Not a whole lot going on here, but if you look, we'll actually have Dragon up within the next 60 seconds. Um, so that's going to be a very important thing for both teams to look out for. I'm not sure which soul it is. Ocean Soul. Um, Ocean Soul is a really good one to have. It provides you and your team, I believe, 2.5% missing health every second when out of combat. It's a really good thing to just get you back in the game after a good team fight. Um, and there we'll see why Trundle is just so influential in these team fights. He's able to throw down his W and just start hitting Q. Uh, yeah, Trundle's Q is especially dangerous if used on an ADC because it reduces their attack damage, which is what makes an ADC an ADC. Um, when they lose attack damage, they aren't able to do nearly as much damage, which on this Caitlyn, 20 attack damage it'd be game changing.
Really?
Yeah, big news for DSU. And that will be Drake for UIC here. Um, and now looking at the gold lead, UIC is about 11,000 gold up, which means that here in a couple minutes, DSU will actually start to get bounty gold from all towers and large jungle camps being Baron and Drake. And it's a rather new game mechanic that was implemented by Riot. Just kind of help the team that's behind catch up a little bit, make it a bit more of a good fight in the end. The last thing you want is to just completely shut them out, finish a game in 15 minutes, call it a day. That's no fun. You want it to last. It's a lot better that way. Looks like we'll start to have a bit of a team fight here on mid underneath this tower. Um, if I'm Thresh, yeah, I'm doing just that. I'm gonna go for that pull. I'm gonna drag somebody out of tower range. And I'm gonna let my team take them out. Because in this situation for DSU, if they lose any one member, it's not gonna be good. And there's tower down. So UIC is just gonna go all in. We have Nami ult there trying to knock up UIC and keep him stunned a little bit. Not going to be quite enough, and even Trundle is going to be able to stay in this, and they're just going to keep pushing their advantage. Now with Cassiopeia and Nami left for DSU, got to be very careful here if you're Cassiopeia. You're not much of an engaged champ, and with all the poke that UIC is putting out this game, you're not going to be able to handle that all too well. And yep, they're just going to do that Camille dive, and it's just gonna grab them another tower, another kill, and they're gonna decide to pull back for now. Um, which, in their choice, I would say is definitely the right move. Um, very, very easy for them to get put down like that, and great play by Jinx there. Twisted Fate tried to kite her a little bit, get her close to his team, and it just wasn't quite enough for Twisted Fate, and that would be a very good thing for Jinx to have. Some more experience, more gold under her belt. All right, we'll have both teams going to a bit of a reset here. It does appear as though we have UIC kind of making a rotate. They're going to grab this Baron and they're going to try to end game with it. And honestly, if you're DSU here, I don't think that there's a lot you can do to contest. Um, you could more than likely pull a steal if you get Sedge close enough, get some vision on it, and manage to outsmite Trundle, which isn't always an easy thing to do. Both your smites do the same damage at this point in the game, and you gotta be very careful. It's all about timing, and that will be blue buff or Baron for blue team UIC. They're gonna get that Sedge pick and the Nami as well. Bad news for DSU here, just kind of getting picked off on all sides of the map. And UIC is really just going to take that and run with it. At this point, not an easy thing to deal with. Baron buff is it's very powerful, very hard thing to deal with. If Jinx is able to kind of stay out of range of this Twisted Fate and Camille, she could possibly do something to really help out, but that's going to be Jinx down. Nami ult, try to save her team, and it's just not going to be quite enough. Um, that was a really really hard game for DSU to adjust to, and I am aware that UIC is a rather high ranked team, um, but DSU did a really good job of sticking in the fight and not just getting pushed all the way out. Um, and with that, we're going to take a little break, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Let's go with Victor, Crimson Samurai's pick.
Victor.
What about that one?
Oh, fantastic choice. So, Victor is a champion that came up quite a lot in DSU's season last year. It was a bit of a fan favorite for mid laner Daniel. Um, and it was absolutely influential for DSU. Did a lot of good things with that Victor. He's got kind of an interesting kit. His Q throws down basically a line on the ground that does damage once, and then later in the game, Victor can actually upgrade his Q. So throws down the line doing the damage, and then the line blows up and does bonus damage. Absolutely fantastic. We'll see Spooky cherishing Daniel State University, as one does, clearly. But yes, so Victor's W throws down, basically it's just a circle, and it slows enemies and makes it hard for them to get away. And they don't want to stay in that slow, because otherwise they'll get locked down. If you get locked down by Victor, it's good night. End of story. Nothing to it. And Victor's E, it's kind of basic. It's almost just like an upgraded auto attack. Not sure what that one really turns into when it can be upgraded later in the game. I don't really play a lot of Victor. He's admittedly not an easy champ and a little bit out of my skill range. Not gonna lie to you. But I will say I do really love Victor's ult, especially in a team fight. Basically what he does is he throws this electrical storm, and it follows enemies around, and it chases them down. So in a team fight, when all your enemies are clumped up, and just kind of, fighting it out. Oh, look, riot launcher. Love that. And you're just fighting it out. You got 5 enemies standing right on top of each other. You hit them with that ult, they have no choice but to disperse or take damage. And when you disperse like that, it makes it really easy for your team to say, hey, there's their ADC. I'm going to grab them. Or, hey, there's the one person on the team that's fed. I'm going to grab them. And you pick and choose who you're going to fight. Or they stay in a clump and they take the Victor ult. It's a lot of fun. But admittedly, Victor early game is... once they hit 6, it honestly, the fight probably goes to this Kiana. Which is UIC's. She's just a very hard champ to play against when she has her 6, because she just kind of throws you into the terrain, and you're just stunned for like what feels like an eternity. I swear it is very annoying to play against a Kiana that knows what they're doing. By far one of my least favorite champs to play against. Very unlucky for DSU's Bruja playing Tahm Kench. That's good. That's not much experience for UIC. Early game kills are not very valuable, but that's a lot of early game gold. A lot of early game gold for UIC. And it's very bad news that it actually went to their ADC. But we're gonna see what happens here. We're gonna see how DSU adjusts from this, learns from it, and how they're gonna play the rest of the game. Remember what that buff was called?
Red buff?
Yeah. What about the other one? The one that's blue.
Blue buff?
You're good at this.
Yeah, no.
It's great. It's great. I love that. You're learning. You got to start somewhere. It's been my experience that there's 2 types of people who play League, right? There's people who play League to play League, and then there's people that play League, say, I hate this because I'm really bad at it, and then just leave, right? Which one are you, Landon?
You know very well which one I
know
was,
which
because
I know which one you. But
it's just not my. It just hasn't ever been my personal taste for games. For whatever reason, it just hasn't. I know 100% that I just haven't put enough time into it. But I don't know. It just doesn't have my interest 100%. I'm willing to learn, willing to go and try and figure out how these things work.
And that's fair. I mean, it's a very good point. And we'll actually see Spooky in the chat. Learning League is hard. He's right. I have put so many hours into League. Nothing compared to our League team, but there's so many mechanics to pick up on. In order to properly play League, you really need to. Oh, okay.
Good.
So we'll actually see a bit of an attack here on bottom. Thresh kind of went in on Tom Kench and Senna, but Tom Kench was able to get a very nice exhaust on Kai'Sa. And Tom Kench is he's a fantastic tank. All around fantastic tank. I love him. He's a great top laner. He's a very abusive support. And that could be very, very good for DSU. And we'll see Ornn not able to get out of the middle of Set's W, which is that kind of trapezoidal thing you just saw flash across the screen. So the interesting thing about that is if you look closely at Set's trapezoidal thing, in the middle there's like a line. Any enemies standing in that line take true damage. Now, the neat thing about true damage is there's no building armor against it. For attack damage, you build armor, and for ability power, you build, typically, if they have ability power items, you build magic resist. And it helps reduce the amount of damage that they can do to you. But you can't reduce true damage. So Set's W, if you stand in the middle of that, as Ornn just did once again, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt a lot. He's gonna abuse you, and then he's gonna pull you right back in with his E, I believe, and he's just gonna start slapping you, and it's never a good time.
Gotta make sure you stay hydrated, as most of us say, basically every stream.
I'm not gonna lie to you, that wasn't hydration. That's just pure energy. I got 4 of them things in the fridge.
Really?
So I'm not gonna lie. Prior to a couple of hours before stream, this was going to be me sitting in this chair right here, running stream and observer from this chair. So this stream was just going to be my slow descent into madness. It was going to be fantastic. I think a lot of people would have really enjoyed watching that.
You were coming in. You were making sure that you were prepared for that inevitable just downturn.
I was gonna expedite my slow descent into madness.
Oh yes.
So I see Philip says, care to explain what true damage is? You're late to the show, bud. Don't come at me like that, Philip. You know I explained true damage, but I will do it again just because. Actually, you know what? No, we actually. So I have Thresh here roaming to mid lane, which remember that Thresh is a pull champion. Very, very annoying. I absolutely hate pull champions, and I refuse to play them. I think it's cancer, but I also play Lux. So I can't say much.
So what were you saying too much about it? There's 2 types of League players, the ones that play League to play League, and the ones that play League and then hit it because they don't like it.
Yes.
So those pull characters.
Yes.
You just refuse to try and
I know how they work, and I know how to use them. But I will not use them. I have standards. All right, bud. All right, so Kiana with the bottom rotate kind of went all in on that Senna, and Senna is a very hard early game champ to play. Before she has attack speed, her auto attacks actually have kind of like a charge up that they have to go through before you can actually auto attack. With typical champions, your auto attack, you throw it, and then there's a cooldown before you can use another auto attack. But not with Senna necessarily. It's more of you have a cooldown in between auto attacks and a warm up right before each auto attack. So she can do great amounts of damage late game, but early game, especially against a Kai'Sa who attacks very quickly, it is very difficult spot to be in. And we'll actually see that Ornn is just getting abused by Set up top. And Set's kind of pushing him away from Wave and not allowing him to get any CS. Now, CS is a very, very influential part of this game because it provides you with the majority of your experience. Last hits on minions provide you with gold that you use to buy items and do more damage, take more damage, whatever it is, more items. So if you aren't able to get to Wave, you're not going to have a good time. Now, this is a very, very interesting choice for this Thresh. He's actually going to go with a very, very hard roaming. Only level 5, and he's going to actually gank mid lane, which is kind of interesting. And there's the Viego. Great pull on Victor, who is not going to be able to really do anything about that. Terrible place to be with this Thresh. And can we see items? We'll actually see that Thresh went Ionian boots. Now I know you don't know what those are, but basically, Ionian boots reduce the time it takes for your abilities to cool down. Now, Thresh probably went with Ionians because then it would allow him to use his pull more often, which is super annoying to play against.
Yeah, so basically just your worst nightmare.
Pretty much. But, truth be told, if I'm Thresh in this situation, where I'm constantly roaming as soon as I hit my 5, because that's when he started roaming, then I'd rather go mobility boots. The way mobility boots work is they provide you with a massive speed boost when not in combat. So it allows you to run through the river and or jungle at a rather accelerated rate. And that'll actually be Senna down on bot lane again. Very, very bad luck going against this Thresh and Kai'Sa. And we'll see Set kind of calming down on the Ornn. And Ornn's actually going to do a really good job of staying in this game. And that'll be Thresh rotate once again straight into the Victor, who's going to get a lot of damage. Victor actually opting to kind of pull back on that. He's just not quite sure whether the rest of UIC's team is in the area. Because if that Kiana or Viego are in the area along with that Thresh, then Victor is not going to be able to do enough in that situation. Set opting to just take tower and soak up that damage. And that will be Drake number 2 for UIC. We'll actually see that it's Chem Tank Drake. Can you believe that?
No.
You can believe that. So the beauty about Chem Tank Drake. Chem Tank. Oh, Chem Tech. I'm thinking of the item Chem Tank. Besides the point. So the beauty about Chem Tech Drake. If you are able to get Chem Tech Soul, it will actually bring you back as a form of zombie after you die, where you'll be able to just use your abilities and you have rapidly decaying health. But you will be able to come back and just run down the enemy team. And it's kind of a broken soul to have. A great ult from Tom Kench there on the Viego. That's actually going to bring him in and give that kill to Senna. Absolutely fantastic play.
I can understand what you're saying about the soul, though. I can see how that would be really, really beneficial to have, being able to just kind of throw away those, as you're saying, abilities and stuff at the enemy team in order to kind of buy your other teammates that are still not, as you're saying, decaying and whatnot. Give them the opportunity to actually be able to get some nice plays on the other team as well. Buy them some time.
It's fantastic. And back to what we just saw on top lane there. Set just soaked up every ounce of damage that Ornn could throw at him. Actually see Zach coming in, trying to pull the kill here, and doing a very good job of that. Kiana soaking up a few tower shots. We'll see if Zach's able to kind of run her down and kind of CC her up long enough for DSU's Ornn to TP to lane. And that will be Senna down, or Zach down. I'm bad on that.
No, you're fine.
Sorry, I'll do better.
Nah, I'll do better. I'll try.
Kench is not so meta support, isn't he? Not true. Not true. Tahm Kench, I think, is still an absolutely fantastic support. I really love him as support. He's a great tank. His ult is good for either saving a low health teammate, or swallowing up an enemy teammate, dragging them to the rest of your team, so that your team can just kind of go at him. Oh wow, they just buffed Tahm Kench support. Oh, I was not aware of that one. But I do know they did just buff Senna, which is kind of why DSU's really trying to do some good work with her. They actually made her Q into a bit of what the old Glacial Augment is. Glacial Augment was, for those of you who know what that is. It's a lot of fun. We'll see that Kiana's able to stop that Zac passive and not let him revive. Senna, Tom, just trying to run, and that's going to be another Kiana stun right there. Again, a really hard thing to play against. Kiana stun, not very fun. That will be Kiana ult as well. I'm surprised UIC didn't dive that right there. All Kai'Sa has to do is E in, hit a Q, and Senna and Tom are more than likely goners. Great play from Ornn. Beautiful ult. Kiana and Kai'Sa are just going to brush it off like not much happened. Victor coming in, going to try to save Senna and Tom here. And he's going to do a great job getting that Thresh with his ult. And he's also going to really help take down that Kai'Sa. Kill's going to go to Tahm Kench. You don't typically want kills going to your support. But in this case, I think it's very good that he gets that kill, gets that gold, builds some tank items. They're really going to need those. And if we look at the items, we'll actually see that Victor has just purchased his stopwatch. I think that's a truly fantastic item to have against this team. With that Kiana ult, she just throws you right into the wall and stuns you for what feels like an eternity. You definitely want to have a stopwatch. Now, since you don't know what a stopwatch is, allow me to educate you.
Tell me what a stopwatch is.
Allow me to educate you.
Tell me.
So what a stopwatch does is it stops time, right?
Yeah.
But on your one character. So it just makes you invulnerable and frozen for X amount of seconds. I don't know exact seconds. But basically, for that time period, nobody can damage you, but you also cannot move or do damage to anybody else. So when Kiana ults you, you pop that stopwatch, and she can't just do any more damage to you. But it's all about timing, because you can't really use items when you're... That'll be a third Drake for UIC. They've done a really good job of kind of clearing out DSU and taking lane prio before they go at those Drakes. bad news for DSU. Well, actually, Set kind of invading DSU's jungle, grabbing them raptors. A lot of gold in those raptors. With 8 apiece for the little ones, they're really worth quite a bit. Even late game, if you're just a couple hundred gold off of an item, you grab raptors. By the time you back, you really should be at about that point you can buy that item. We'll actually see Set engage with his ult on the Victor. Very, very interesting choice here, and that will be Set Flash as well. Senna ult coming in, trying to save that Victor, and managing to get him out on time. Um, Luckily, Set did not actually fully commit to that. It would have been very, very bad news for that Victor. Looks like we're about to have another team fight here on mid, using Herald to really push that tower, and that will probably end up being mid tower. Great ult from the Kiana, really good engage off that, and managing to a lot of just group AoE damage onto DSU. See Set and Kaiser still completely full health. Uh, Kiana, Viego, and Thresh, honestly, not altogether that low. Really hard to play against. And DSU primarily up in about 10-12 seconds here. We'll see if they're able to get a nice pick here under tower. I think it's a great opportunity for Victor once he gets his ult back up, which shouldn't be in too much longer. Zach's actually going to get real heavy hit by the Viego. Tom going in, trying to soak up that damage. Do what a tank does, takes any damage. Great kill for the Victor to have. Like I was saying earlier, Victor is absolutely the player that you want to be getting the kills, even if you have to give them to him. The first thing you want on your team is a fed Victor, and that's a very good thing. All right, and if we'll look at Victor's items here, we'll see that he's not too deep into his build. It's only 20 minutes in, so not too terribly far. But he is 3, 4, and 3. Not a bad place for Victor to be. See, he has Mythic and Shadow Flame. Great item for both health and AP. It looks like UAC is going to start rotating. Probably going to try to pull this Baron. Get some vision on DSU's side of things. And try to pull it without getting too much interaction. Set's going to go for a kill here on this Ornn. Now, Ornn is a great tank. If he's able to kind of CC the Set, which his ult was kind of wasted there. Set actually opting to ult outside of his ult. Which was, it's a great play. It is really a great play by Set. But very bad luck for DSU. They do know that Set's down there, but they're a little busy on mid lane yet. Victor trying really hard to get that Kai'Sa. Again, ADC does the damage. You want them out, but if you just aren't quite able to do that, there's not a whole lot that you can do. And that will be an ace for UIC. One tower and Nexus down. Hard fought game for DSU. Well played. They just weren't quite able to hold on there. Things didn't really go their way, and as a tough game.
Rather unfortunate.
Highly. Yes. All right. Let's just go back to. There we go.
There we go. Things are starting to kind of work.
Yeah, I'm figuring it out.
Hey, but at least it's. I know you're still doing all the heavy lifting here, but at least it's got to be at least a little bit better that you're not doing all of this by yourself.
Yeah, but then it'd be my slow descent into madness.
Also fair.
See, this is just
Also
the
fair.
league stream, where if it was just me, it'd be the league stream and the descent into madness, right?
Also
Right?
fair. Also fair.
A lot of
That
fun.
would be rather entertaining.
It really would be.
But unfortunately, everybody is stuck with me here to try and try and support this, even though I don't know too much about what is all going on. But either way, unfortunate game there.
Very, very. UIC just kind of did a better job of rotating around the map, especially with that Thresh support. Hard to play against. Hard to play against. He pulls you under tower, or he pulls you out of your own tower, and it's very annoying. Not a lot of fun, but any final remarks, Landon?
I don't know. I don't think I have any final remarks here. Again, just unfortunate. They'll be able to better prepare themselves next time. Get to see a little bit about what the other team is about. Try and figure out some ways to get better.
Indeed, and I think one thing to keep in mind is that this DSU team is very new as together playing as a unit, with 2 new players in, and they haven't been practicing long. It's the start of the semester. They didn't know this team over break, so it's just something for them to get used to, something for them to kind of work towards. A really nice goal, I'd say. Yeah. Anything final from the chat? Anything from our hype train conductor, Spooky Dookie?
Yes, Spooky Dookie. Would you like to add any final remarks?
Spooky Dookie's probably not watching. Although I don't know why I wouldn't. Spooky Dookie didn't bring his controller home, so there's nothing he can play.
That is unfortunate.
About the only thing he can play is League.
That is unfortunate.
Well, I suppose he could play Valorant, but he probably doesn't know how to play KVM.
I think he
Does he?
I think he does, because I think I played with him once or twice on Valorant, even though I'm also not too great at that game either. But fun
Fair
times.
enough. Fair enough. All right, and with that, we are going to end stream. Thank you all for joining us. We had some rough spots along the middle, but we got
Absolutely.
through it together. We appreciate you, all y'all at home.
The absolute hard carry from Thomas over here. So thank him from having the stream not absolutely decay into absolute madness.
You didn't get sound, but you did get video, and that's what counts, right?
I suppose.
Yeah, that's actually a very good question. Would you rather have a stream, no video with sound, or no sound with video?
Depends on the streamer. Depends on if you
Well, this isn't an ASMR stream, so we're doing video.
Fair. Yeah. At least personally, it would depend on the streamer, because some of them are more comedy focused and some of them are more gameplay focused. So it really depends on who. It's like
Fair
a
enough.
podcast or watching a video.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And with that, good night.
Adios.